Kenny, yeah, show starts at 2. I know.
I'll be there. Oh, no, you don't know. Tremendous. Welcome in. As today is the swan song for one of the worst Tiger seasons in memory. But we have a lot to do before then. And it includes Rico with a Coach A and Coach B scenario. And what it all means for the changing winds, the changing tides of college football. And we're going to have a little discussion here. We're going to see if this does anything for the people. Rico, please.
Mike, here we go. I'm going to make it very simple. I'm going to give you Coach A and their accomplishment and Coach B and their accomplishments. Both coaches started at the same time at their school. Coach A, record at the school, 67-26. Conference record, 43-18. Division titles, 3. Big Ten titles, 0. Bowl record, 6-1. Coach B, 66-24. Conference record, 44-17. 1 division title, 1 Big Ten title, bowl record, 1-5. Coach A, that'd be Paul Christ, just fired. Coach B,
I know who this is.
that'd be Jim Harbaugh. He was extended. When you look at the numbers like that, you're just scratching your head saying, I don't know what college football is anymore. Wisconsin fired a guy with that type of record. He really had one bad season, and that was this year. Now, it was tailing off a la D'Antonio where it wasn't the same. But, yeah, I mean, 67-26, 43-18 in the division. Wisconsin was always in Indianapolis. Bowl record 6-1. In the one game he lost, it was to Oregon. It was a 29-27 game in the Rose Bowl. He got fired.
But I think what it represents, Rico, is college football is becoming the NFL. You and I talked about it this weekend when the Chris news came out, and it was there are 5 Power 5 jobs that are open by October 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Not November 1st or December 1st, October 1st. The schools combined are on the hook for $60 million of buyouts. That's an average of $12 million a school. They're paying guys $12 million to leave.
Right.
So here's my question for people.
Scott Frost got early millions to leave. I mean, millions to leave early.
Yeah, 15 early. It would have been 7.5 had they waited 2 weeks.
Right.
They burned through $7.5 million out of spite. That's the ultimate spite store.
It is.
So my question to the people is this, and it's a lot like the Dr. Pepper commercial, which I do find funny. There are schools changing conferences or conferences changing names. There's just everything that's going on in college football, including now schools bleeding money to fire coaches, firing guys who, I don't know, seemingly is Wisconsin going to do that much better? Now, look, I thought Chris was probably done. I thought at the end of the year it would have been appropriate. Blasting a guy out in the last days of September? That's weird to me.
You blasted a guy out who basically have brought you nothing but success. That's why that one was strange. Okay, the year was going bad, but did Brett Bielema really embarrass you that much that you felt the very next day you had to fire him?
But this is where the Barry Alvarez's and the Lloyd Carrs and the Philip Fulmers and the John, not John Cooper, that's a bad example. Bo Pelini. Like, you're seeing guys get clipped in college now and in the past where you go, you know what, those guys aren't ever going to exist anymore. And I only bring it up because you see what's going on with Michigan State and Mel Tucker and the contract and some zany discussions from fans. And then I go, you know what, let's have this conversation. Right? For a long time, fans wanted Harbaugh gone. There was a faction, a large one.
Up until last year.
Correct. And he saved himself, much like Barry Alvarez helped save himself by, after having some rough years in years, 6, 7, and 8, he goes to the Rose Bowl in his 9th and 10th season. The point is, Barry Alvarez wouldn't have existed in today's climate. So I want to know from the people if you like the general direction of college football. All of it. The realignment, the crazy TV deals, the NIL, the way we're getting rid of coaches, right? I want to know the
college
whole
football
thing.
free agency.
Sure, the portal, same thing. I want to wrap it all up in a bow and ask you, are you comfortable with the direction? Do you like the direction? And will it end up in a place where the sport is better or worse? I will argue, A, we're all going to watch regardless, but it's going to be worse. And I know you may feel different. I'm not denying I will watch, but I think it will be worse.
No, I think what's going to end up happening, Mike, is it's going to be like any other sport where all of a sudden it becomes generational, where you're like, well, back when I used to like the sport, this went on and this took place and this is how we treated things. It's like talking NBA to somebody who's 20-something and somebody who's 40-something. They're going to see the game totally different because they saw an evolution of the game. And I think for college football, there is going to be an evolution where, yeah, it used to be if you're a head coach, you had 5 years to come in there and get things done. And if it wasn't done in year 5, you got fired. I think from here on out, you got 3 years to get your stuff together, to get your team to become a winner and become competitive. Now, if you're smart, you'll do a gradual increase. Mel Tucker did it the wrong way. He won too many games in year 2 or year 1 or whatever you want to call it. And now it looks like, well, you're regressing. You got to stay up there the whole time. You're only going to get a small amount of window to really fix your team, get your team established, and become that guy. Like, I don't think Dabo would have survived at Clemson if he started coaching now.
Great point.
Because Dabo, it took like year 7 before all of a sudden Clemson took off.
Harbaugh, he won games.
Right.
But he didn't win the games he was hired to win and didn't win bowl games. Would Harbaugh be given the same grace he was? Because in the last 10 years of college football, it has changed at a incredible velocity. So I'm asking the fans.
I mean, yeah, think about this, Mike. And the biggest, this is what the sport has become, is Ed Orgeron at LSU. He won the title.
19 games later, he was gone.
Gone. Couldn't get rid of him fast enough. He didn't just win the SEC. He went out there with Joe Burrow and maybe had one of the best teams ever. And 19 games later, hey, Ed, in my office, please. We want you gone. That's what college football is. It is a win at all cost right now.
But what it is the NFL. And what I have always liked is that my Saturdays are totally different than my Sundays. I liked that it was different every way. And now, every change I see, it's becoming more like the NFL, and I don't like that. But I want to know what the people think. I don't want to turn this into Mike and Rico, the odd couple, arguing. I want to turn this into an open-ended conversation. Look, the backdrop of it is Mel Tucker's been a big topic on this show. Jim Harbaugh was a big topic on this show for a long time, where he was winning games, but many of you guys wanted him fired, gone, along with the fact he was begging to go back to the NFL. But I digress. The point is, every change, the expansion, the TV deals, the transfer portal, NIL, the way coaches are being handled, and the money. The money's important, Rico. Georgia Tech does not spend money. They're paying Jeff Collins $12 million to leave before handing the next guy $25.
Right. And then you're
50,
going to wonder,
40. I don't know.
wonder, is Georgia Tech going to loosen the restrictions for admission? Here's the thing. Here's the other thing that really kind of bothers me is what's happening at SMU. SMU has 3 of their top 4 players have opted out after the 4th game. Why is that important? Because they can still keep this year in red shirt. They're going into the portal. It's a safety, it's a corner, and 2 wide receivers have said, okay, we're done playing here. We showcased ourselves for the rest of the league, and now we want to go play for a Power 5 school. Get at me. They just stopped playing. They're not injured. They're making business decisions.
But that's why I don't like any of this conference expansion, because it's going to make 90% of the schools have-nots. And it's going to make places like SMU unviable. It's going to make the MAC an untenable situation.
You know what's going to turn them into a minor league system?
1AA.
Yep.
I don't like that.
No, you go there, you do well, and then the next year you transfer out.
Right.
You become Jaden Reed
right.
at Western Michigan.
I don't like that at all. And that's where you may as well just not have football at those programs. And that stinks to me. Other people will say, I don't care. I've never cared. I'm not a loser. I don't watch SMU and UCF on a Wednesday night at the bounce house.
How is that any different from Jahmyr Gibbs leaving Georgia Tech?
I hate it. I don't like it.
I'm going to Bama now.
Right, like Kenneth Walker was a backup at Wake Forest. I kind of got why he got out. I had no idea he was that good. Jahmyr Gibbs was a superstar at Georgia Tech. He was a great player. He was face of the program. I'm out.
Right.
I'm out.
You're not winning enough for me.
Jordan Addison, same deal. Caleb Williams, same deal. So, look, 248-539-9797. I want to know if you're comfortable with the general direction, because as this season moves on, and Rico's got news about NBC and this TV deal for the Big Ten, it might be another step closer to Notre Dame. David, what are your thoughts on it? Obviously, as a Michigan fan, your program operates different. They're not really into the portal. While they have NIL, it's not one of these crazy Texas A&M NIL things. Where are you at with this?
See, it's not even about Michigan to me. Overall, I'm a huge NFL fan. That's what I love over college football. I watch college football, of course, but I love NFL. But here's the thing when it comes to this, is I don't want it to be NFL light.
That's
I
right.
want it to be a little bit different for me, because to your example, Rico, Coach O, he equals Doug Peterson, meaning Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia. 2 years later, gone. So
yeah, good point, David.
That type of stuff is not what I want to see in college football.
Because
I want to see them build.
Yeah, because here's the thing. You win certain games, and it's almost a lifetime deal where, yeah, it's going to take a lot to get you fired because you won a national title. You're not fired 2 years later.
And it's fine to see it in the NFL because that's how they operate.
Right.
But I don't want to see that in college. Keep it separate. Keep it separate, please.
248-539-9797. We'll get to your calls, get some texts, get a football today as well. 97.1.